In a world now where almost all of us walk around with a global audio-visual communications device in our pockets, and social media and all that kind of stuff, it's become impossible to even hide a cameo in a movie, let alone hiding the production of an entire movie. But apparently, that is what Matthew Vaughn has just pulled off. Now, of course, Matthew Vaughn's terrible movie, Argyle, is in theaters now. And it pains me to say that. I love Matthew Vaughn. I love Bryce Dallas Howard. I love Henry Cavill. I love Sam Rockwell. I love everybody involved with it. I've been dying to see that movie, and it was just awful. But Matthew Vaughn, who's made some fantastic movies, is out there doing the promo circuit for it. And while doing an interview for one of them, he revealed that he is not in the planning stage. He has secretly shot, as a producer, a movie with Sam Rockwell and Chris Hemsworth. This comes to us from Matthew Vaughn. He said this in an interview. I've been producing a very, very special movie. I'm very excited about it. I just saw a half-hour cut together. This will have the same sort of impact as Kick-Ass did. You ask Sam Rockwell, and he'll just give everything away in an interview. We're like, Sam, we're under contract. You're not allowed to talk about that. But it is a movie. I can say that it is a movie that is written, directed, and starring my stunt team. It is a film like no movie has ever been made, and it's reinventing an action movie. That's big words. To come out and say, well, first of all, say it's going to have the impact of Kick-Ass. That was pretty big. Kick-Ass had a huge impact. Still, like, oh God, I love that movie so much. To say then something like, it's like no other movie has ever been made. To say that it is reinventing an action movie, that's big talk. Especially coming off not such a big movie with Argyle. But, I mean, if Matthew Vaughn is saying this is bonkers, this is nuts, this is like nothing you've ever seen, it's going to have the same impact as my film did. And you got Chris Hemsworth involved, a guy who said self-imposedly he was going to be stepping back as a result of some of his genetic health testing and stuff like that.
He's just too healthy.
It's bad for him. No, he's clearly still working on, he worked on this. So there's two different things here, Rob. And I think there's two different stories. One, Matthew Vaughn's got a new produced movie coming out with Chris Hemsworth and Sam Rockwell, right? That's exciting. Action movie like nothing we've ever seen. That's exciting. But the secondary story is this. How on earth did they pull off shooting a movie with Chris Hemsworth and Sam Rockwell, and none of us were any the wiser? I mean, that's a coup that they just pulled off. Anyway, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, DraftKings. DraftKings, the leader in fantasy sports, just dropped a brand new app, Pick 6. Pick 6 is the newest way for you to get in on the fantasy football action with DraftKings. New customers can make their first NFL picks and get up to $100 in Pick 6 credits if those picks lose. All you got to do is pick between 2 and 6 NFL players and choose if they're going to have more or less of that stat. For example, will a player have more or less than 100 rushing yards, or will a player have more or less than 1 touchdown? Track your lineup and compete against others for a shot at huge cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and sign up with the code Campea. New customers can get up to $100 back in Pick 6 credits if your first football pick set loses. That's code Campea only on DraftKings Pick 6. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $100 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits, valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 1 year. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Valid only in states where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Pick 6 not available in all states, including but not limited to Connecticut and New York. For up-to-date list of states, please visit dkng.co/pick6states. Void where prohibited. See terms and pick6.draftkings.com. What do you think about the sounds of this?
Well, you know, I've heard reports that Matthew Vaughn actually, Argyle didn't cost $200 million. That's what he was able to sell it to Apple for, was $200 million. And if that's the case, look, it would not be difficult, and I don't understand why more people don't do this. If you have the money to, say, make 2 movies, you could just do them all as one production and nobody would be the wiser. You know, you have your, it's like the John Hurt Contact idea. Why make one when you can have 2 at twice the price? So your budget, you know, you just extend the shooting and continue shooting. Your stunt team on Argyle, it's interesting. What interests me here is he said it was written, directed, you know, by his stunt team.
Yeah.
So maybe like Chad Stileski or whatever.
I mean, remember, a lot of people forget that the people who came up with and made the John Wick films were stunt guys.
I mean, let's not. Craig Baxley, who directed the greatest movie in the world, Stone Cold, with Brian Bosworth in the central role, and Lance Henriksen, he was a stunt coordinator before he started directing. If you haven't seen Stone Cold, I ask you, why not? But it makes sense to me that they could have done this. And Matthew Vaughn, before he directed, was a very savvy. He's produced for Guy Ritchie. So he was a very savvy producer. And I would imagine, if you do it John Wick style, the first John Wick movie was $20 million. I'm not saying that that's chump change. But if you have a movie that's $100 million that you're making it, and you up the budget to 120, and part of your production schedule, you had built in this second movie. All it takes is a savvy producer like Matthew Vaughn is to do something like this. Now, the fact that no one knew Chris Hemsworth and Sam Rockwell, because Sam Rockwell was in Argyle. Yeah. So you can already...
You can camouflage that a little bit.
Yeah, and for Matthew Vaughn or Guy Ritchie or whatever, having cameos is not... Nobody pays attention because it's not Marvel. It's not Star Wars, so people don't care. Oh, these people are in your movie. You've already got a cast of thousands.
But people pay attention to where Chris Hemsworth goes and what he does. So,
yeah, but he might have been I'm shooting another documentary.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll say this, though. Now, granted, Matthew Vaughn is producing this, not directing it. Big distinction. Big difference. I really hope that whatever this is good, though.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was doing open mic last night, and somebody brought in and said, "What happened to Matthew Vaughn?" Because listen, unapologetically, I'm a big Matthew Vaughn fan. I love Matthew Vaughn. But the reality is, since he's done what I think is maybe the most underrated film of all time, Stardust, not the best film of all time, but underrated film of all time, Stardust,
based on a Neil Gaiman story.
Obviously doing Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, Kingsman. But since then, he did Kingsman 2, which some people may like, and I'm not trying to put down anybody's opinion if you liked it. To me, that movie sucked. As much as I loved the first one, that's how much I disliked the second one. Then he did The King's Man with the greatest actor in the world who doesn't have an Oscar right now, Ralph Fiennes, and that was awful. And now he's given us Argyle, a movie that I desperately wanted to love, and it's awful. I would love to see, and granted, he's not directing this one, he's producing it, so it's a different thing, but man, I would love to see Matthew Vaughn get whatever kryptonite somebody slipped into his back pocket out and get his powers back and get back to making the type of movies that I love seeing him make. So I hope this is great.
I'd love to see him do something more like Layer Cake again.
Yeah.
Get
back to that kind of stuff.
It's a banger. Again, I don't know, maybe it's a tonal issue, but I will say this, John, surprisingly, Max Allan Collins, who wrote the novel Road to Perdition, he wrote me an email yesterday and he talked about him and his wife. They loved Argyle.
I've talked to one or two other people that really liked it too. Listen, I said this before.
Is it the new Hudson Hawk?
But I mean, there are people who like the second Kingsman, and I stand by that. If the second Kingsman appealed to you and worked for you, I think Argyle will work for you. The similarities between the second Kingsman and Argyle is one of the reasons I really hated the movie. But if the second Kingsman worked for you, I think you're really going to enjoy Argyle.
But did it work for $200 million for you?
Well, so far,
I don't know.
It's been out almost a week now. It has made, hold on a second, it has made a grand total of $35.3 million.
But you know what? That is $35 million more than Red Notice made or The Gray Man made, and they both were $200 and $200 million plus movies.
But that's not the measure they go by.
No, I know.
But it's true.
It's Apple.
It's true.
As people have been writing to me, they're like, Rob, that's almost $1 trillion company. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but their division is not $1 trillion.
No,
division.
and I said, I don't care if you have
By the way, it's a $2 trillion company.
Yeah, I don't care. If you lose $200 million, someone cares.
Oh, yeah.
No one spends that amount of money.
Yeah, it's not the iPhone division that's paying for these movies. It's a specific division that has specific budgets.
Yes.
And they don't have a $2 trillion budget.
No.
So I hope they at least make their marketing budget back. And at this point, I'm not even sure they're going to make their marketing budget back. At any rate, sign me up as being excited to see whatever this new movie is.
Me too.
I hope it's great. I hope
I
it's
always
really
give
good.
everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.